On the program today, we're looking at lottery and national development. Of course, if you listen to me as I started the program, there's always been this discrimination against lottery. Some people have looked at it negatively, talked about the fact that some people use it mischievously to make easy money. So they've confused it with gambling. But then over the years, we've seen a better appreciation of what the lottery is all about, because a lot of manufacturers, telecoms, and banks actually use it to reward customers. So today on the program, we're going to be talking about lottery and national development. Now, the National Lottery Regulatory Commission actually believes that it can contribute about 250 billion naira annually. But definitely there are issues and there are challenges, and how best is it that they can use this industry, as it is, to create more employment for the numbers that we see growing every day. Of course, we know that the National Bureau of Statistics just released some figures, and it shows that there hasn't been so much jobs created in the first half of the year. But let's talk about lottery and national development. I'm being joined on the program by the Director General and Chief Executive Officer, National Lottery Regulatory Commission, Mr. Adolphus Ekpe. Mr. Ekpe, good morning, and thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
So it's been about 6 years now since the inauguration of the NLRC. Could you just...
2005.
2005, November, okay. Yes. So could you just tell us how the Commission has fared in the last couple of years?
It has not been easy, but it's a foundation-laying process because the first DG, Mrs. Iroche, started in 2005. And then my predecessor, Peter Igo, came on board in 2009. And then I started last year. So it's a foundation laying. So it has not been easy. 9 years now, from 2005 to date.
But then there have been so many things that must have happened along the way, even though it's not been particularly easy. Let's say, since the inauguration, the NLRC has been looked at suspiciously by Nigerians. So it's been 9 years now. Has that perception changed?
I think it's a gradual process. But first of all, let me thank you for providing this platform, because what we require in Nigeria is more of lottery education. And I believe that part of your program should be devoted to lottery education, just as you are giving a prominence to the stock market, because you report the stock market daily, every working day. So you should report lottery market daily as well. Maybe we'll start from that. But okay. I want to commend channels for giving us this opportunity to talk about lottery education a little, because we don't have the time to say everything. So I will say that we are starting with lottery 101. So maybe I want to define lottery so that it can actually give us a perspective of what is happening in Nigeria, if the time permits.
Yeah, no, because you see, we don't really have that much time to begin to do the definition, because since the commission has been, in existence, people have begun to appreciate more. And I remember your predecessor, Mr. Peter, actually, did a lot in terms of educating the public about the difference between gambling and lottery. So that we don't really, take too much time going back again. Let's run with what we already have.
Let's say you've already passed the stage of lottery 101. We'll go to the next step. There are a lot of prejudices, both religious and social, on lottery. But what the commission has done is to open up offices across the country in order to reach out to the people. Now, in Nigeria, the lottery we practice, there are two categories. We have the one that you require a license, and then you have the one that you require a permit. Now, the one that you require a license is what we call the traditional lottery, where you pick numbers. Now, the one that you require a permit is mostly tied to products and services. I know in your intro you talked about banks and other institutions. It's when you have a product and you use lottery as a marketing tool, you require a permit from the commission. And Nigerians have to know that for every lottery program that is not having a permit is illegal.
But how do Nigerians know that? So that's another thing that the commission has been faced with. Has it really been easy ensuring that there's transparency in the way lotteries are done and rewards given to customers?
Now, we have a lot of challenges. Maybe if time permits, we'll go into that. there are institutional challenges that is even within the commission itself, the capacity to do what is expected. Like, we are not automated. So most of the issues there, we can't get them in control. Just like in stock market, where a trader is on the floor and you know what the trader is doing. Before the automation on the stock market, brokers were doing anything they like. So the lottery industry itself needs to be automated, and the commission has to drive that process. We are on it, although there are some challenges, issues of litigation on it. Now, if you look at the other side, even the Nigerians who want to participate in lottery don't bother to know if that program has been authorized by the commission or not. Now, if the program is not authorized by the commission, it means that it is illegal. And when you participate, you are exposing yourself to fraud. Now, what the commission has done is to try to link up with the EFCC to work together. And we are now having a joint committee that will go after those who are operating illegally, because it's our own place to go out and fish out those who are doing illegal lottery operations. Now, the other way is for Nigerians to equally report, because you participate in a scheme and you are not treated fairly. You should report to the commission. So we have our hotlines, and we have our website, we have our email, we have our Twitter handle. If it's okay with you, we give out those information so that the Nigerian public can report. We have an enforcement team backed by the police, and then we are now working with the EFCC to collaborate and make sure that illegal operators don't have any place. Now, by our own act of 2005, and I want to commend the National Assembly for coming up with it. If you go to section 34, it talks about the penalties and a minimum of 1 year imprisonment or an option of fine of 20,000 or both. So people have not been convicted. But I believe that part of my task is to make sure that at least 1 or 2 persons actually pay for defrauding the Nigerian public.
But you talked about the hotlines. You talked about the other social media platforms that you have that customers can easily reach you
with.
And we know that once upon a time, we used to have so many lotteries being held. These days we see, but very, very few. Is it because they've not been able to keep their own end of the bargain, or is it because they refuse to, or they don't want to come to the commission to do the right thing, which is the reason why we've seen a lull in the kind of the number of lotteries that are being done?
Now, I will not completely agree with you that there is a complete lull. People still do it, but there are some people who prefer to even challenge the authority of the commission than to comply with the authority of the commission. And that is why we are having issues of litigation. There are people who have decided to take the commission to court that what they are doing is marketing. Meanwhile, they are using lottery as a tool in their marketing. So Nigerians have to know, like, if, maybe let me come to the basic. You are manufacturing a drink, maybe a fruit drink, or even ordinary water. And you say somebody who has the money to buy the water will stand a chance of winning something else instead of your water. You are using lottery as a marketing tool. You are a bank, and you say somebody who keeps a certain amount of deposit for a period of time will have the opportunity, the chance to win so amount of money. You are using lottery as a marketing tool. And they have to regularize. They have to get the authority of the commission in order to do that. Now, ironically, most Nigerians just jump into something, maybe because of the expectation of getting something. People ordinarily will want to even get something where they don't even play. And that is why on the phone, people even tend to hide from their immediate family to try and reach out to people who say, you have won this. I don't know if something like that you have won it. Meanwhile, you did not play any game. You see, because lottery is normally tied to a game. It's tied to a product, tied to a service. In the Islamic countries, they even tie their lotteries to the Hajj operation. So when people talk about religious biases, they say, if you go to Niger Republic, the head of the lottery there is a lady and is a Muslim. You see, so it's because of some ignorance and some misconceptions. And that is what lottery education is supposed to do. Because the basic difference between lottery and gambling, that lottery has what we call good cause element. The good cause element is what goes to society to develop society. It is so important that if you don't have any good cause element, it's no longer lottery.
We'll come to